Yesterday, it was very bad news for the side of Liverpool. I tell you what, they went ahead to get beaten by Bournemouth. I was in Salon. That was on when was it? Was it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. And I was talking to one of my barbers, and he was like, Liverpool is going to win. I told him it's really going to be a very hard game for him to obviously go ahead and obviously collect 3 points in there for you. And I was like, the best they can do is a draw. They're going to struggle to obviously get in there for you. So, the side of Liverpool went ahead to be 2 goals down, after 33 minutes. Evanilson, 26th minute. Alex Jimenez in the 33rd minute. And the game was 2-0. Towards the end of the first half, Virgil van Dijk pulled one back and they went to half time at 2-1. Then, in the 80th minute, Dominic Soboslai came up and obviously scored a very beautiful free kick. And 15 minutes later, they couldn't hold on to that, and Amini Adil went ahead to obviously make it 3-2 in favor of a side known as Bournemouth. And they really went ahead to lose badly. I tell you what, they lost badly, and if you're a Liverpool fan, you know exactly what this means, because you've been really deteriorating. Because having gone ahead not to look good, when they are playing against Burnley, the game ended 1-1. They drew with Arsenal 0-0. They drew with Fulham 0-0. I'm talking all those games are really Premier League games, and they last got a Premier League win on when they are really playing Wolverhampton Wanderers. They won by 2-1. But on the 1st of January, 0-0 with Leeds. 4th of January, 2-2 with Fulham. 8th January, 0-0 with the club of Arsenal. Then they went ahead to draw with Burnley. That is on 17th. And now they've gone ahead to lose. In 5 games, they've only gotten 4 points. And they've gone ahead to lose. I think that form is really deteriorating. And it has gone ahead to call in alarms for the sacking of this manager. That is the most shocking bit of it all. And when you look at Liverpool, they're not really doing fine, I tell you. They're not really doing fine. And it's really very, 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 very destabilizing for the fans of Liverpool. If you're defending champion, you at least expect to come up and obviously put in a shift. But I want to obviously blame the manager of Liverpool a little bit, because you can't bench your best forward, Hugo Ekitike. That is it. You can't bench him. Unless otherwise, the board has told him that fight for top 4, fight for top 4 in this season, and then make sure we compete in the Champions League. Because if he couldn't bring him on in a Premier League game and start, why would he? If he couldn't obviously bring him on and start in the game of a Premier League, it's a clear indicator that maybe the Champions League is their goal, and they're really working tooth and nail to really do the needful, because in the Champions League, they're obviously going to be playing Quarterback very, very soon. And in the Champions League, they are 4th, meaning that they want that win to obviously seal that position of being in the top 8, such that they can go direct to the round of 16 in there for you. So, that is the side of Liverpool for you. And they really looked very, very ugly. But in so doing, Virgil van Dijk had the following to say, and he said the following, that we were with 10 men. You can argue that we have to kick the ball out. It's not on Alisson. It's easy to say he should have done this. It's a split second. We decided to keep the ball as we had possession, and unfortunately for us, we conceded. Losing never feels good, especially as a Liverpool player. So, I think the game management was really a problem. And this goes back to exactly what I told you when the season was not even starting, that the recruitment of Liverpool, they are not prepared for this season, because this is always a marathon. I've always said this, that this is always a marathon. It's not always, it's not a 100-meter race. It's always a marathon. So if you know to it that this is a marathon, all you have to find yourself doing is put in a very beautiful shift. And after putting in your shift in there, you get all what you wanted in there. So that is Virgil van Dijk for you. And then after Virgil van Dijk, we got Jamie Redknapp, a Sky Sports journalist, came up and said the following. What an effort Bournemouth put in today. That performance from Liverpool sums up their entire season. They are hard to identify. They are so positive in possession. This was no low block. Bournemouth wanted it a little bit more. They knew that they had to do, and they knew what they had to do and kept persevering. Bournemouth deserved the win. Obviously, the best team went ahead to obviously win. And I think no Liverpool fan will be outside there saying, we really got cheated, or we really deserve the win. And I don't think that there is anywhere they really deserved the win. They never really deserved the win. The win was supposed to go to a side known as Bournemouth in there. Then the Bournemouth defender, Senesi, said on winning in the last minute, he said, to be honest, unbelievable. I think we hit a very good first half going to 2-0. Then they scored. They drew the game. A late winner is perfect for us. Unbelievable because we need a win. Everyone below us is getting points, so it is massive for us to win today against a really good side like Liverpool. They are doing amazing, and it was a good game, and at the end, we got the result. The team is staying together, doing the work, even when we have a few injuries and important players for us. Everyone is stepping up, and we got an important result today. Remember, they also lost Anton Semenyo, meaning that they are really working with limited resources, and losing your best player in the due course of in the middle of the season doesn't really come easy. You understand? So that is it, and that's what we really have in here about a guy known as Ancelotti, who is really having huge problems. And Ancelotti himself is saying that Ancelotti says it is mostly the same few players who have to play, and it is safe to say that they were very tired, and I cannot blame them, especially if you face a very intense Bournemouth team. Now, when you are starting the season, didn't you know this? You know, he's trying to play victim and act like he never knew what he was going into. You know, Liverpool, when he look at that squad, I cannot refer to it as one of the balanced sides in the league. Never. Because for the goalkeeping department, they have two players, Frimpong, Connor Bradley, all right, they're really doing good. Then Kokezi and Robertson obviously covered up. Now, we come to the central defense. Virgil van Dijk, Konate, Joe Gomez, right? They really had a Joe Gomez in there. And from having a Joe Gomez in there, they really had, in the central defense, Virgil van Dijk, Konate, Joe Gomez, and the other guy. And I think that is really very shite for a side like Liverpool. All you need to have Liverpool, you need to be having 6 defenders, and 5 playing the central defense, and the other one being able to play across all that entire line. You get? I think they missed out on really looking out for a defender who is multifunctional. And in that entire Liverpool side, you cannot see a defender who can play across that entire back line. And when you look at almost all the big teams, they really have that player. When you look at Arsenal, they have that player in Benjamin White. They also have that player in Julian Timber. Even Ricardo Carafiori, you know, we've seen him play as right back, though he's really left-footed. You understand? Then, when you look at Man City, you know, they do have, I think they had Akanji, you know, and but they really have players who can play in more than one position in the defense area. For example, Aki can play as a left back, can play as a central defender. Josko Vadio can play as a left back, can play as a central defender. You can look at John Stones, he has been played as a midfield, right back, left back, and a central defender, meaning that John Stones can really play across all that entire line. And they've gone ahead to understand that they really need more depth in that defense, and they went ahead, obviously, acquire the services of Mark Gehi, who went ahead to make his debut yesterday. So, Ancelot, please, I think you are the one to blame, because I think you would have gone ahead to look much more better into this season in here. So, let's go to Man City. In the 6th minute, Omar Mamosh came up and obviously scored fresh from the African Cup of Nations. I told you that he's going to be one of the impactful players for the side of Man City. If at all you've been following up on what he did in what we call the African Cup of Nations for Egypt. Then Anton Semenyo in the 45th plus 2nd minute, he went ahead to really extend that goal lead to 2, and obviously they won by 2 goals to 0. That is Man City. Now, after Man City went ahead to obviously register that huge success, their manager came up and obviously talked about the following players. First and foremost, he hailed Omar Mamosh, and he said that last season, when he arrived during 2 or 3 months, he was unbelievable. Without him, it would not be possible to achieve Champions League qualification or FA Cup final. He's a special player. Sense of goal, dynamic energy, runs are really good. I see him improve more as a striker, not a proper winger, but he's a guy for transitions. I'm happy with him. Now, when you are Man City and you're really having trouble with your number 9, who goes by the names of Erling Haaland, who is not really firing up of cylinders like he has always gone ahead to do, then you need to come up and obviously do the needful. And what's the needful? You need to come up and obviously get other players to really raise up the hand. And one of those players that really rose up the hand was this guy known as Omar Mamosh, returning and coming up with an instant impact. And I think he will be very important. Though he was played as a winger, but the manager really wants to see him as a center forward. And I know he reminds more of Julian Alves when he's really leading that line, because even Julian Alves was like a Mamosh. Very, very clinical, I tell you. He's a very clinical player. Now, Mark Gehi, on making his debut at the side of Man City, the manager Pep Guardiola had the following to say about their £20 million bargain from Crystal Palace. And this is what he said. He's come for many years. The signing is really good. A perfect edge, incredible signing for the club for the next many years. He's a guy you can rely on. You see it from 2 training sessions. How he moves, talks, sees what happens around him, reading situations. He's a really, really good player. So, obviously, the addition of Mark Gehi is really very important, because for City, they've been vulnerable in that central defense and they've been conceding very many stupid goals. And him coming in through, partnering up with some of the best in that central defense, I think will offer him the best. When you look at the lineup of City, Mark Gehi played with Kusanov, because the likes of what's the name? The likes of John Stones are really injured, and Diaz. And wait for the Diaz return. Diaz in that central defense alongside Mark Gehi, it's really gonna be very, very solid, with Rodri playing ahead of them as he shields them. I tell you, City is really trying to do the needful. When you look at the introduction of Semenyo, he brought in Semenyo to say to it that he really does what we call a perfect addition to the winger, like the right wing, because he reminds me of that traditional winger. And when you look at how he's playing right now, he's playing Cheki, left-footed, or Savinho as a left winger and Semenyo as a right winger. And he's like trying to revive that traditional 4-4-2. And he played a system of 4-1-4-1 in there, with Omar Mamosh leading the line, Erling Haaland coming off the bench and sending a message to him that things are not yet done. You need to obviously come here and really fight for everything. Though the shocking bit of it all in this game was City had 11 shots and even Wolves had 11 shots. So I think something never really went on well as planned, but obviously a huge shift was put in by City and they went ahead to close in on a side known as Arsenal. And when you look at the table right now, as Arsenal prepares to play Manchester United. Arsenal, 22 games, 50 points, City, 23 games, 46 points, meaning that City just has to pray to it that maybe United does something shocking at the Emirates. You understand? Then Aston Villa is playing today also. Liverpool lost yesterday having 36 points. United are 5th with 35 points. They win today or they draw, they go ahead of Liverpool. Chelsea, if they're playing Crystal Palace today, they are 6th. Fulham is 7th, 34 points. Brentford is 8th, 33 points. Newcastle is 9th with 33 points. And Sunderland is 10th with 33 points in there for you. So that is how the table of the Premier League is really looking like. And I think I've gone ahead to obviously try to come and really break it down. So your reactions are welcome in the comment section below. But continue to subscribe because you want to hit 29,000. And we've hit 28,119, meaning that we are left with 81 to hit 800, so to hit 28,200. So please do the needful and subscribe. Rokani David is my name, and thank you for obviously coming in here and giving us the best of the best that you guys deserve to know about us. So we out, and bye bye. Enjoy your Sunday.